What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we're doing another regionals question and answer video, and this time we have Drew, and he got top 8 at Massachusetts. 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 I try my best. Struggle with words sometimes. That's a word I can't say. Sorry about that. But as you see, he plays a Crobat Seismitoad deck. But this time he actually plays. This deck played two Mewtwo, which is pretty interesting. He talks about the two Mewtwo a lot in this deck. I think we talked about the AZ some. It seems pretty cool. And I know I asked him about the 3N. Now the whole point is you to Quake a Punch. Your opponent can't play item cards. Or you go back to Crobat to do damage. You have the head ringers in there so that way they can't attack. And yeah, it's a really good deck. And hopefully enjoy the interview. And thanks for watching. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we're doing a regionals question and answer video. And what's your name?
Drew Guritzky.
And what regionals are we talking about?
Well, this one we're talking about Massachusetts.
Okay, so what were some of the decks that you played against, and how did you do against them?
Well, I actually faced, it was a lot of different decks, but I faced against some fighting decks, Eggs once, Flareon, Toad, and a metal deck, actually.
Mm.
And Yveltal. So it kind of was like all of the big decks.
Okay. And which decks did you win against and stuff like that?
You want me to go round by round, or?
Yeah, round by round.
Okay, so first round, I actually have my first round I played Ali, this guy, and he was playing Landy Bats, and the deck kind of beats that because it's weak to water and all that stuff, and they have trouble setting up sometimes. So I don't remember exactly, but I know I beat him in 2 games.
Okay.
And then I've had some pretty poor luck with pairings and just facing like enough of bad matchups at the beginning. And I wasn't totally but when I saw Dylan Dreyer round 2, I wasn't the happiest person. He was also the person who gave me my first loss in Florida when I was 7-0.
Okay.
Game 1, he got a good start, and I got nothing. I had nothing. Turn 2 blockade and everything. Game 2, I got turn 1 laser on him, going first, and I had got 3 Zubats into play. turn 1. So he had an issue with, he needed to actually play all 4 of his eggs down, because if I dropped 2 Golbats, his active was going to die from poison, and I was going to knock out the other 2 with double Golbat and then the swoop across for everything. So we actually put 4, and I actually knocked out 2. And then the next turn I knocked out the other 2, and he just ended up. I ended up winning like 6 turns, and then game 3 I ended up choosing. I thought about going the Mewtwo route, but I chose to go turn 1, and he just never got set up to the point where he actually attached the grass to Virizion, and on that turn I attached the ringer to Virizion because he was going to try to Emerald Slash my Toad, and he just never got a blockade out in the entire game.
Okay.
And just the bats and everything, and it just kept loading the damage with Golbats and Crobats onto the Virizion until I knocked it out. And whenever I had a chance, I would drop the Crobat to knock out an egg. But he won game 1, and I was able to take the next 2.
The revenge.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's funny because I beat him in the finals of a cities, and then after that, I played him a few times, and he beat me every time. He beat me round 1 of a states where I played against eggs as well, and then he beat me at the regionals as well. So I felt bad because he's been helping me a little bit with decks and everything, and it's like you don't want to be playing somebody that helps at times.
True.
So round 3, I played against I don't even know how to explain. It was Lucario, Groudon, Landy, the baby Landy, and Halucha.
Okay.
Roulette, I don't know. And I don't know if he played Landy X, I don't remember. But game 1, I ended up discarding one of my Mewtwo's, right? And he didn't think I played 2. And a lot of my friends, James, Stumbo, and all of them all thought that I should only play 1. And I was like, it's just too good, especially if you play against Virizion. And just 2 Mewtwo's, no one expects the second one. So I discarded it, and then he ended up taking like a Halucha, and he actually scramble switched onto Lucario so he could draw cards. And I was able to scoop up or do something to my active, or he knocked out my active. I was able to bring up a Mewtwo and one-shot him. It just because he wasn't expecting the second one.
Yeah.
And it just from there it was just downhill for him. And then game 2, he ended up powering up. He actually got Primal Groudon up, but every single time I got a bat, I just dropped it on the Groudon to the point where I actually was able to one-shot it when it came up to attack. So we only got one prize off of it, and then he just scooped because he just had nothing else in play.
Okay.
So there was that. Round 3, actually. So round 3, I found out this was like his bachelor party. Come to the Pokemon event, his like last hurrah because he's getting married to Diego, and he was playing Toad Slurpuff. And funniest thing, in the 3 games, he only got Slurpuff up at the end of game. He got them up at the end of game 3, and that was it. But game 1, his start was strong enough that I didn't just drew nothing. And then in game 2, I ended up grenade hammering like twice, and I was able to take game 2. And then game 3, he finally got late game he got it up. But by the time he got it, he got set up and everything, I just was able to. Actually, the first I think I head ringered his Jirachi so he couldn't float stone it. Game 3.
Okay.
And that actually cost him to discard an energy to retreat it. And then I head ringered his Toad, and he ended up having to attach two DCEs to it. And so I grenade hammered it to knock it out because I figured that he wasn't going to draw the 4th DCE, and he just was not able to, and that was it for him. Then I played Aaron who was playing Flareon in round 5, and he actually went first, and he got Bangle on to lead. It was. You there?
Okay, there you go. All right, yeah, I cut out for a second. I heard that you played against Flareon.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Okay, so it's still moving, so I think you can hear.
No,
okay,
I couldn't hear you.
You good now?
Yeah, we're good now. The part I heard is that you said he got turn 1 Silver Bangle on an Eevee.
On Eevee, and then he hit me for 140, and I was able to scoop up twice in a row, and everything like that. And it got to the point where he pretty much had the game, but he had a trump card, and he had to whiff on energy 2 turns in a row for me to win, and he did. He was playing Raichu and everything in it. Like, he only had 4 cards left in his hand, and he had Electrode in play. But I just had to hope. My Toad had 160 damage on it, and I was like, so. And then game 2, he just blew through me. And game 3 was weird because time was called, and I actually had a chance to win the game, but I had to after he trump card, I had to discard 2 Golbats, and that actually prevented me. And I whiffed on Soup-Ups, and if I had hit them, I might have been able to win on turn 3. But we ended up tying, and I would have played the end of the game differently. So I don't know if I would have been able to win or lose that game if it had gone a different way. So that made me 4-0-1. Round 6, I played against Russell. He was playing Toad Manectric with Rock Guard.
Okay.
So he went first game 1, and that actually was a big deal because he was able to get Rock Guard on his Toad, and I actually had the ringer in my hand turn 1. And unfortunately, my hand was what it was, where I had the DCA and the Muscle Band, but I didn't have the Toad. And I had Computer Search, so I Computer Search for the Toad, and I had no cards left in my hand. So then I was just hoping to top deck a supporter, and I just never did, and he ended up winning. Okay. Game 2, he got Rock Guard down again, turn 1, but I was able to win that one. And then game 3, he just drew better, and I just was not able to win. But he didn't get Rock Guard and play that game. I think it's annoying. So at that point, I'm 4-1-1, and I'm like, crap. I went from 4-0 to 4-1-1, and I kind of needed to top 16 to get my invite.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, have to win at least one of the next 2 and go 1-0-1 because I was at the point where a tie was good for me as long as I could win the other one.
True.
So I played round 7. I played against Bronze Metal, and I wasn't actually sure how the matchup went because I was always scared of Dialga because the Chrono Wind. Mm-hmm. But I ended up going second, and I got a turn 1 Quaking, and I got the head ringer on his active Dialga, and I poisoned it. He didn't play the Stadium. So, he used Keldeo to rush in and everything like that, and he eventually got Aegis Last active, but I built a Toad with water energies on the bench, and so I could actually hit the Aegislash while it was poisoned. And it just gets to the point where I ended up knocking out the Dialga, knocking out the Keldeo, because I don't remember what else I had ringered. I had ringered, I think, an Aegislash, or no, maybe it was a Keldeo. I don't remember exactly. And I was able to get the Aegislash knocked out. Game 2, he, unfortunately for me, got the Muscle Band on the Dialga turn 1, which is never a good thing.
Yeah.
Started with Aegislash, and I was able to head ringer it. So he ended up attaching DCs to it and everything, and I just used Bats and Poison to finally KO the thing, and then I computer searched to get the waters, so I could actually hit the second water. And then he actually used, I don't remember if that was his second or fourth prize. No, his second. He knocked out my Toad with Dialga by one-shotting me, or I had some damage on me from Aegislash, and he discarded 2 energy, so Dialga had 2 energies on it, and I was able to bring up Mewtwo that I had attached the DCE to, attached the second DCE with Muscle Band. I had benched the other Mewtwo with a Muscle Band, and my hand was crazy because I had scooped up, I think, the first Toad, and it was 2 waters with the second one. I actually had all my DCs in my hand. So I had 2 in place. So I attached 2, dropped 2 Crobat, a Golbat, a Golbat. I did something to put him up to 170, and then hit him with Poison, and I actually one-shotted a non-damaged Dialga with Mewtwo to go down to 2 prizes, and he couldn't bring up Mewtwo because the other Mewtwo on the bench. So eventually, he finally said, "Forget it," and he just brought up the Mewtwo, hit me for once. He didn't even knock me out, because I kept hitting me and I kept retreating, because he chrono winged with another Dialga, and I retreated it to the other Mewtwo and then attached the other DCA. So now both had DCs on it. So he's like, and then I ended up winning that game. And then round 8, I played again. I played a 5 and 2. So I was pretty sure, based on what was going on in the top tables, that if I lost, 1 6 and 2 got in, and if I won, no 6 and 2s made it in, all 6 1s made it in. But I told him at the beginning. I said he needed a top 8, I think, for his invite. But I told him under no circumstance was I going to give him a whoever's ahead in game 3, because a tie would have got me top 16 and got me my invite.
Yeah, true.
So, and they actually asked us if I go on stream, and I was like, nope, that's not happening. I'm way too nervous to not only go on stream, right, along with winning gets me top 8 and my invite. I was like, I don't need the added pressure to be on stream. Forget that. That's not happening. So, let's see. I think he started with Darkrai both games. He was playing Darkrai with Manectric and Yveltal, and all I remember is I locked him, and then I put both head ringers on his Yveltals, and he was never able to draw his Mega Manectric. So because he was never able to do that, it just was able to he wasn't able to attack with Yveltal without 4 energies, and then that doesn't help with anything. And I was able to beat him game 1. So I didn't start with Jirachi the entire tournament until the last game of round 8. So game 2, I start with Jirachi, and I end up playing down Burbank, even though he poisoned me. And I don't really have a great hand, and he was able to get a turn. I poisoned him, and I think on turn 2 he evolved into Mega Manectric. I can't remember, but it might have been turn 3. But I head ringered it, and I don't think he realized I head ringered it.
Okay.
Because he attached to his bench Yveltal EX, and I was worried because of energy switch, but I had retreated the Jirachi with a water and put up, I don't remember, Zubat or something, and everything. He may have hit something else and I scooped it up. I just don't remember. But he tried to use the attack, and I was like, no, you can't. He's like, crap. So I was able to knock out the Mega Manectric on that next turn.
Okay.
And then I head ringered the Yveltal, and we got it down to 2-2, and I see how I can win. I can win by knocking out the damage Yveltal, but he starts Y cycling, and before he does that, I realized that my Jirachi has 70 HP, which 70 damage on it, and I was like, so I VS Seeker for AZ and scoop it up because I knew he was going to try to knock it out. I was like, and he said yeah. So I get to the point where I get him in a lock, and he just keeps acrobiking and not getting anything, and we get to the point where he has like 2 cards left or 1 card left, and I just keep quaking, and I scooped up and everything, or I picked it up, I don't remember, and he has 1 card left. He draws it. He shows me it's the VS Seeker, and his trump card's in his discard pile, so he can't actually use it. So he says it's my turn, and I actually think I can actually take the last prize, the last 2 prizes, but he asks me if I can just say pass so I can deck him. So I say okay, and I end up decking him to win the game and get my invite. So it was, it was interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, congratulations on getting your invite and getting top 8.
Yeah, I got in the 8th seed. It was actually the second time I made top cut as a top 8 seed because I made Night March. I was the 7th seed in Florida.
Okay, that's pretty nice. All right.
Yeah.
So about your list. Now you did play the 1AZ, and you talked about the Jirachi some, but was there any crucial plays they played AZ with?
Picking up the Jirachi was good. Picking up the bats was nice with AZ.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting because I played the deck. I played Flareon for most of states, and then I switched the last states to this, and I ended up going 5-2, and I ended up playing 2 VGs. And I didn't have Mewtwo, and I didn't have the Headringers. I had Doden, Xerxes, a Skyla, and a 4th Water.
Mm-hmm.
And I dropped those for the 2 Mewtwo and the 2 Ringers, and the Ringers were really helpful. The Mewtwo's were nice. Crucial cards, I mean, the second Mewtwo was really nice. I actually thought I was going to have trouble drawing the second Headringer or Headringers, and I didn't.
Okay.
So, funny enough, I actually don't think I would change a card. I actually would suggest that, I would actually tell people that if they're going to, like, Kansas, or I don't remember where the other one is, I would tell them to, it's Wisconsin.
No, Wisconsin's not till the
No, it's not Wisconsin. I thought there was one.
There's one in
2.
Kansas. I don't remember the other one is. I can't remember where the other one is.
I would say to play my list card for card, because if I was going, I would just play the card, card for card, my list. I mean, I don't have very many one-ofs, so it's like, and I actually don't think I played trump card once.
Okay.
So, I mean, but I have to have it in there.
Yeah, true. Now, you did only play 3N. Why was that?
So a lot of people thought, well, my friends wanted me to play 1N and like acrobikes, and I said that's not happening. And some other people said they wanted to play 1 Colress and 4N, but I thought that with the Zubats you have a bigger bench, especially since I'm playing a 4-4-3 line, and I actually can't advocate that enough. Don't play 4-3-2. That's just dumb. Yeah. Or I think the 4th gold bet is huge because you're always discarding one, usually. But it was one of those things where you're always going to have a big bench because as soon as you draw a Zubat or a second Toad, you might play it down, and you end up having like 4 cards in your bench, and if they have 3, it's just as good as a Juniper, but you get to keep key resources.
Okay.
So I just thought that the Colress was a better, especially late game when you might need that crucial card. You can draw almost all the cards in your deck.
Yeah.
So I just thought that it was a better choice to have 2 of that over 4N. And it seemed to work fine. I never had a game where at the beginning of the game I had only a Colress, and even if I do, there's a chance that, there's enough Pokemon in play that won't matter.
All right. Now, why did you decide to play Size Switch Crobat for this tournament?
Well, I was going to play Flareon, which obviously seemed like a good choice based on the fact that 2 of the top 3 seeds, I think, ended up playing Flareon and making it cut. But I felt it started running cold for me, both at a league challenge and online, and I was like, you know what? I was worried that Trump card was going to make it a little bit too fragile, and I figured that this was more of a solid play, and it just felt more. I hate Toad as a deck. However, I like it only because of the bats.
Okay.
This is the only variant of Toad I would play. I won't play the other ones, no matter how much people, I just don't want to play those because they just are so boring for me. And plus, Flareon, everyone's talking about eggs, and Flareon just doesn't beat it.
Yeah, true.
And, so you just lose if you don't get a great start. Like, you have to get Empoleon in play and stuff like that. So it was between the 2, and I decided that this was the better choice after thinking about it.
Okay. Now I know you don't want to talk about your day two experience.
No, I could play. I can talk about it. I'm just
Okay.
not. There's no point in giving the list. Plus, it's not my list.
Oh, okay, okay. I didn't know if you want to talk about like if you were to
So,
play day two again, would you play a different deck or not?
well, I did. I played Trevenant Excelgor, but I just played like a normal list, like no text or anything, because I was hoping that Jimmy was playing something that would just straight up lose to it. I wanted to play Gardevoir, and I actually messaged someone for their standard Gardevoir list, but I never heard back. And actually, 2 Gardevoirs were played in top 8. But Jimmy also played Trigor.
Okay.
And I wasn't. It was one of those things where it's weird because like it would have been nice to get a trophy, and it would have been nice to get possibly chance at the 2 buys. But there was no way. Whoever won wasn't winning the next match because Guardy won the next match. Was playing whoever was with Wonder Energy.
Uh-huh.
But possibly getting more points so that I could possibly move up because I ended up jumping from into the top 100, like 75th or something with 337 points. But Jimmy gets his invite by beating me.
Okay.
So he's a good friend, so I was like I wasn't going to give him the win, but if he beat me, I wasn't like the worst. It was funny because the other matches were all serious, and Jimmy and I are playing decks that are autopilots. So we're there just talking and just goofing off and everything, and we don't. It's not a big deal because it's hard to make a mistake with that deck. And he just gets a better start game 1, and I just don't get anything. He gets the lock in. He gets I kept whipping on the float stones. I played 4 of them, and I couldn't draw any of them. And then game 2, both games I prized 2 Excelgor. So and it was one of those things where he ended up bringing up an Excelgor, and I had to use 2 energies to retreat it, so I only had 2 energies left. And then he brought up my 1 tree without a float stone on it, and it pretty much went from the game's taking forever to draw pass between the 2 of us, where we're trying to deck each other, and it gets to the point where I had played Colress, and then. Which may have been the wrong move. It might have been better to because I played Colress first because I figured he might not have anything, but he did. And then I ended up drawing my whole deck again, and I ended up ending. So we went for like 5.5 minutes of just draw pass till he was 2 cards ahead of me. So unfortunately, I ended up decking myself, which was funny because I got my invite by decking somebody, and so did he.
Okay.
So what I mean. So I'm happy for him, but I mean, if the only thing is the trophy and the buys possibly, I don't really and the moving up in championship points, but the extra packs and everything, don't really matter to me. But I'm happy he got an invite, because you want your friends to do well and everything, so that's kind of nice.
That's true. Now, if you were to play expanded again, would you switch decks to like? Or would you?
So, expanded is interesting. I saw something, and I probably would have played that. I wanted to play Guardy, but I didn't have a list. I actually hate. When they first announced expanded, I thought it was like when they were discussing it, I thought it was great. Now I don't like it. I think I started off the season 3-0 in expanded, and I think I'm 2-8 since. I just don't like expanded because it's like, especially when it's just a top 8. I felt like if it's a top 32, fine. You have 32 players. That fine. You don't want to. It's a not big enough field. But with top 8, I just felt like you should stay with standard. Mm-hmm. Also, I think that all juniors and seniors should just not be switching. That's just not fair to them. But I just think personally, top 8 should stay standard because it would have been a much better matchup if just in general or more fun game. Even Jimmy probably agrees with that. About between Flareon and that it's a 50-50 there. And it might be my favorite a little bit, but that would have been at least a better showing because now you're trying to scramble and everything. But I also saw Night March with Archeops, which would have been interesting. Mm-hmm. So I think that's not a viable play after next regionals because of Wally.
True.
Because people are going to play that. And, Eva Soda does get around it. So, like, if I was going to play Guardy, I was going to play 1 Eva Soda just so that I could get around Archeops if someone played it. Okay. So, but I don't know. I don't know exactly what I would play differently. I just don't. I played Laney Bats down in Florida, and I ended up running into just nothing but Toad. and that was frustrating because I had to go 3-4 to make top 8, and I went 2-5 in my last 7 rounds. So that was kind of frustrating.
Yeah, true. Well, how many championship points are you looking to get at?
I mean, I'm happy where I'm at, but I'm going down to Georgia because I didn't want to risk screwing up at Massachusetts and then only giving myself a chance to have to either win 2 league challenges, or because I still have 2 league challenge finishes, or having a top 60, 128 or 60, top 128, I think, nationals. So I booked it, and then I ended just so I had 2 shots, and I ended up getting it in the first shot. So I'm still going down to Georgia. So I mean, I'll figure out what to play, but I'll just use it as a testing ground for nationals and stuff like that, and everything since the format changes. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm not really gaining everything. I mean, it depends on how I do at Georgia. Depends on whether I think I have a shot, and if I do well at nationals, if I can get a day 2 invite. But I have to get some points at Georgia.
Yeah.
So it really would depend on that.
Okay. Well, do you want to give any shout outs to anybody?
Well, I mean, Nicolina helped me during the entire season, and she said to put in the Mewtwo's and everything, and I wanted to do that already, but that was very helpful. Dylan and Dylan Dreyer and Jimmy Pendarvis helped me as well with Excelgor. I mean, it didn't work out well, but that's not their fault. I mean, I hit the right matchup, I'm okay. It's just I'm bad luck and drawing bad. James Stumbo, Chris Silver, and Ben Stock all helped too during the year. And congratulations to Jimmy on getting his invite, obviously. The only thing I should say is, and this is something that I think is funny, it's unfortunate as well. So Andrew Kreckler, after I got my invite, comes up to me and like, did you win? And I say, yeah. And we kind of did this went towards each other, trying to high five and then like or hug, what type thing. And I ended up elbowing him in the nose and like a bloody nose. And it's like, so we ended up in the bathroom, and then I just did leave it down. Like Vince his dad was actually like, keep your elbows away, like, and he was pretending to be scared of my elbows for the rest of the weekend. And I felt so bad because I was like, it was a complete accident, and it was pretty bad and everything. And the next day Vince is like, his nose is broken. I'm like, wait, what? He's like, no, it's not. He's like, so he's like messing with me about his son's nose being broken. It was not pretty.
Yeah. Oh well.
But that was the strangest thing that happened as far as that's concerned.
Okay. All right.
I have no clue what I'm playing for Georgia, though.
I don't think anybody does right now. So.
Yeah, but we'll see.
All right.
I mean, I like certain decks, but I got to figure it out. Sure. I know that I don't want to play. I'm not playing this because it's just Rayquaza can just destroy it in this now. And then the Tree Shaman deck, just nothing.
That's true. All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview. Congrats on getting your invite to top 8.
Yeah, it's the first time since 2010. It's my 6th time getting to Worlds. I had invites from 06 to 2010, and then school and being busy and everything. So this was the first time I was able to travel to events and actually try again. So it was kind of made it worth it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you do well at Georgia. Maybe you'll get lucky and get that day 2 invite.
Absolutely. I'll see you at Nationals.
Yeah, or I'll see you in Georgia.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll see you there.
All right, man. Yeah, exactly. All right, man. Well, take care.
Absolutely. You too. Have a good one.
All right, you too.